Hello. So, I went to see my friend yesterday and he presented me with this to fix. It's a Mackie 1402 VLZ3 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 channels, 10 channels because there's one missing. And the obvious problem is that one of the faders is broken off, so it needs a new potentiometer, fader, whatever you call it, and a knob. Now, I have worked on these before. I worked on one like this, and I worked on a bigger one which was nearly twice as big. That was fairly difficult because of its size. So, I know what I'm letting myself in for working on something like this, because every knob has to come off and every fader control, they all have to come off. There's numerous Allen headed screws, all have to come out. And not only that, up here, all these have to come off, all these nuts and washers. And another one. It is quite a job before you can get anywhere near getting the circuit board out to replace the fader. And I think I can find a new fader, but I'm not absolutely 100% sure until I take it apart to see what the value is. Not sure about the back, whether that has to come undone. It's quite possible you have to take all these off, I can't remember. And this one's been adapted to work on 12 volts from a power supply that generates positive and negative voltages. So it's quite a job to repair one of these. Not a job I particularly enjoy doing, but having done them before, I know I can. And I think the way to go about it is to line all the knobs up, which I've done, so they're all central, and I've turned those down to 0, and then take a photograph of it so you know where they all go back, and then get a nice tray and pull them all off and lay them out in order on the tray. So that is my next job. I think before that though is to take the actual case apart, which is several screws around about. So that's what I shall do next. Hello again. So I've taken off the knobs on the lower part, which is the lower PCB, which is the one I need to get out, hoping I wouldn't have to take off all this, but I will have to. And having done that, I had to remove all the Allen headed screws, which there are quite a lot of, and there's one very small, and I don't think I've got the right Allen key, but it's the nearest one I've got, and I must have used it before because I have nothing else. Now, they were incredibly hard to get out. They were so badly stuck after all the years. I was on the point of rounding off the tops, the bolts, in which case I had to resort to medieval tactics and just grab the tops of them with a pair of pliers. Okay, you're going to risk damaging the front panel, but the owner isn't going to be too bothered about that, I know for certain. Unfortunately, I did manage to shift them all, but I think I can see one I haven't taken out. How odd. There's so many of them, it's easy to miss one. Let's get that one out. Right, now I think they're all out. On the bottom board, I turn it over, and I've got to have to take all the others off, and nuts. Okay, so that's what we've got underneath. Now, this is a power supply, which I've unscrewed, and it's actually loose. Has been modified, because over there's a socket that feeds in plus and minus 12 volts, so you don't have to run it on mains only. I think it also feeds in 48 volts for the Phantom as well. It's a power supply box I built for it. Oh, what? Now I was hoping, this is the board that I need access to. I was hoping I could sort of fold this out, but there's no way that's going to happen. Everything else has to come out, and that includes everything, absolutely everything, including all the sockets on the back, and XLR sockets, and probably that one as well that I put in. So it's a very long and tedious process to get to the point where you can actually remove the damaged fader. Now, I have looked, and I think I can get one, and also the fader knob, but I don't want to order anything until I'm absolutely certain of I've got the right values, the right value of it. I think it's a 50k. But for now, I'm going to go on dismantling. So, in order to get all these nuts off, what I do is I loosen them with a spanner, and then the quickest and easiest way is to get me drill on them. Otherwise, you'll be there forever. I wonder if I can do one without the spanner first. Yeah, don't need the spanner. Saves one step. And it gets so long and tedious, by the end of it, you usually end up finding you've forgotten one or two. Anyway, I don't think you want to see me doing all that. So, that actually went better than I expected. The main things to worry about when you're doing this is, I don't know if you can see the linking wires between the boards are solid wire and they break quite often. And the other problem, which you can't see very well, oh yes you can just about, is the ribbon cables that go to this board. They break very easily, and they probably will before I finished. It's about trying not to stress them too much. So if I pull this off, which is the blanking plate to the fader, and there's my broken one. There it is there. What can I see on the side of it? I can't see anything on that side. It's difficult. Everything's difficult with this. I'm going to have to look in there without the camera in the way. So, I was looking at two on eBay. Two listings. One was 50k, but these are 10k, and it does say it's for this model. So that's what I'm going to have to do, is order that one and a new knob. Maybe straighten out the old shafts, who knows. Give them all a bit of a squirt with contact cleaner while I'm in here. So I can't do anything more until they arrive, which will be probably a few days. So that's the end of that one for the time being. How does that go on? That goes on like that. Keep a bit more dust out. It's got plenty of dust in there already, of course. Oh, what a hassle. And if we look at all these, they've all got washers on, which are all liable to fall off if you're not careful. I mean, it's very well made, but just not the easiest thing to work on. And I think I got paid a fair bit of money when I did the last one, because of the amount of hours it takes. Anyway, see you when the parts come. Okay, so nearly 2 weeks later, I finally got this potentiometer, fader, whatever you want to call it. This took nearly 2 weeks to come. That's how bad the post is for second class articles. And this is not a new one. This has been desoldered from a board. But as far as I can tell, testing it with the meter, it seems okay. I couldn't find any new ones. They must be relatively rare. So what I've got to do, there's a lot of pins on this, as you can see. Something like about 10. And I marked them on the board. I've got 4 up here. That one there, which is connected to the body of the case. So is that one. Another 4 down there. So it's going to be relatively difficult to get out the board. But I have done one before, so I guess I'm capable. I don't think it's a plated through board, so that might make things easier. I'm going to try and use my fairly hopeless desoldering station Dura tool. Don't use it very often because it's fairly awful. It blocks up continuously. But it might be the ideal thing to use on this. So I'll just get it warmed up. Right, it's warmed up. And before I even went to use it, it was blocked up. So now I've unblocked it. I'm sure it'll block up again soon. First of all though, I'm going to stick a bit of fresh solder on all these joints. Might make it slightly easier, might not. Okay. Difficult as always trying to do it with a camera screen in front of you, so I don't know how much of this I can film when I'm desoldering it. Okay, which one shall I choose first? try this one. Let's see how that one went. Nope, it didn't get all the solder off. A long, tedious process is this. Move it around and suck it. Still didn't get it. Right, I'm going to do this off camera, it's too difficult. Well, that was a horrible job. I hate doing things like this. Look, this is what I got out. And the desoldering pump was fairly hopeless. But the only thing it was good for was getting the solder out, the holes after I got the thing out, cleaning them out properly. And it was a combination of leverage and using a soldering iron and solder wick and various other techniques. But I think the good news is I haven't damaged anything in the process. If I look at the other side, which is up there, I can't see any major damage. I should do a close inspection. I'll just solder the other one in them. All very awkward this, but I got the new one in fairly easily. Now just got to solder it. It's so tricky working on this thing because, as I said before, you've got all these thin single strand wires connecting the boards together. You flex those more than a few times and they just snap. But I suppose the good news is they're fairly easy to find. So where was I? I can't see properly. Right, I'm here. So that is level. I just need to solder it in, which is a fairly boring process. I'll do one or two just to show you. That's the body of the case and the other body. And then if it isn't flat, I just heat it up again and make sure it is. And that one wasn't quite flat. So there you go. Let me do the others, there's only a few. So they're all soldered in. I could give them a bit of a clean, I suppose. Although the person it belongs to won't really care if it's got flux all over it. I don't know if I missed one there, but I don't think I did. I mean, it's so dirty anyway. It doesn't matter about cleaning flux off. Just want to look at that one joint. Sure, it's okay, but fine. Now it's got to get back in its home, which is incredibly difficult. I'm not doing that on camera. But before it goes back in its box, I will spray all these with contact cleaner. I've done that one, the new one. I'm not using anything exotic here. It's just service sole. I can't afford such things as the oxide. Right, let's get it back in this box. Right, sorry about the audio on the last clip. I forgot to clip my microphone back on, so it was about 3 feet away from me. Anyway, now I've got this back in, the bottom board anyway. I want to keep that one stable, and that is a hard thing to do. So I'm going to put in hopefully one screw there, because I don't want it all flopping around when I'm squeezing the other boards in, which is something that is also a struggle to do. And another one should hopefully go on the opposite side. Except the board isn't low enough. Hang on. My God, this is a hard struggle. I don't want to work on one of these ever again unless somebody pays me a lot of money. And we're not out the woods yet. I've managed to get all the boards back in. There's no guaranteeing that I haven't damaged one of these cables in the process. And I guess it's nearly ready for a test. But I can see something not very nice going on under here. Two of those wires look like they're shorting out. And that's what happens. I wish they wouldn't have used this horrible single core wire which breaks so easily and also shorts out. Surely they could have used something better than that. It's more flexible for a start. But I don't want to do any more screwing or putting nuts on before I've given it a test. I think I need to put another couple of screws in there, hold that up, and this side. But because the last thing you want to do is to put it all back together, find it doesn't work, then you've got to take all the nuts and screws out again. I think I've had enough for one day. I might do some more tomorrow. So the time has come to find out if it works. Actually, I know it works because I've already tried it, but I'll show you. This one is the faulty channel, remember? Or the one with the broken fader. So let's turn that one up. I must admit, I have little understanding of how this thing works. The more I use it, the more I understand it, but when you're not using it all the time, I haven't got a clue basically. Nice bit of Nina Cherry there with Buffalo Stance, one of my favourite records. Anyway, so that channel works, and I'm hoping that all the other ones work. I don't think there's any reason why they shouldn't, unless they've suffered. Yep. What was I on? Next one is that one. That's my fixed channel. That's the next channel. Got to turn some gain up on the gain. And Why isn't that one working? Let's get back to you. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I got it working anyway. 4th channel. Nice bit of Saint Etienne, Only Love Can Break Your Heart. Originally by Neil Young, of course. I think we'll take it that everything's working. I'll check everything thoroughly. All the other inputs and whatever. But I'm pretty sure everything's working. So what are we on here? 8. It's the trouble, you see, I don't really understand this thing. That's working anyway. So, do you really want to see everything else being put back on it? Probably not. But I'm going to do that anyway. All the knobs, nuts, faders. That's the one I replace. And I still haven't got a knob for it. Ordered at the same time as a potentiometer. Fader. That's exactly 2 weeks today. Of course there's no post today because it's bank holiday. It's really frustrating when you want to get on and fix something. The post is so awful. Anyway, let me get on and put everything together. I've got a whole tray of goodies over there. Knobs, all laid out in order, and hundreds of nuts and screws and washers for the sockets, and sockets on the back. Okay, this is when the drill comes in handy again. I've got it set to torque setting 7, so I just go around and do all these. No one didn't work, did it? What am I doing wrong here? That's not staying on there right. Yeah, that works. So that's what I've got to do now for the next 10 minutes or so. Put everything back on. Okay, all back together. That took best part of 40 minutes, I reckon. Putting all those nuts, knobs, screws, whatever, faders, things in. I think it still works. What's the name of that track? Backstreet Love. What's the name of the group? They had an album called Air Conditioning. Curved Air, that's right. Anyway, the end of the video. I don't want to do another one of these in the near future. So, thanks for watching. Bye for now.